E3 transmits from the Mediterranean, while E4 transmits from the Pacific. It is clear that these are sister stations run by the same organization. When the tune stops, a 5-digit identifier is read 3 times by a mechanical female voice with a British accent. 6 tones are heard and exactly 200 5-figure groups are sent.
8, 1, 9, 6, 8. 8, 1, 9, 6, 8. 9, 6, 9.
When the message is over, the 6 tones sound again and are followed by another repetition of music. Then dead air until the top of the hour comes again. Known as the English Lady, E17 is a still living reminder of the Cold War, a time when a large variety of number stations had been lurking around Europe's airwaves. The English Lady signs on by repeating a 3-digit identifier. If 5 zeros are heard after every 3rd repetition, then there is no message and the station will abruptly go off the air. When there is a message, they are in groups of 5 digits, and the station will leave the air with 5 zeros. When this station is heard, it's a safe bet that it'll be there on the following night, too. Many interesting stations have existed in the past only to disappear. Late in the Cold War, Europe's airwaves had plenty of eerie number station transmissions. Among these stations were many German-language number stations that signed on repeating 2 letters from the phonetic alphabet. In the background are a series of tones that sound like a snake charmer's flute. Over 80 different call signs have been reported in the decades that this station has been on the air. The call sign and the tones are repeated for 5 minutes, then several messages may be sent. One call sign, Papa November, was so frequently heard and predictable that it earned its own Enigma ID. This station has not been heard since October 1992. Of a similar format were 2 stations called DFD-21 and DFC-37, among the few number stations heard using legal call signs. As you can imagine, a check of the call signs' licenses yielded nothing helpful. These sister stations left the air 2 months after Papa November.
Attention. 214, 214, 34. 72222.
Not all numbers stations can be tied to the messages they send. Some stations never send messages. One of these X stations is X6, which airs the same 6 tones repeatedly. Only so much can be determined about this station. It does not appear to follow a schedule, and when it does send messages, they are in CW or FSK instead of voice. S28, known as the buzzer, has only been known to transmit a message once. Christmas Eve, 1997. The supposed purpose of such stations is to hold frequencies for when the agencies need them, which explains the infrequent messages. Despite the general decline in number station broadcasts, many stations have not seen a reduction in traffic. Some new stations have even taken to the air. E25 was discovered after Enigma broke up, so the designation is not official. This station was first heard late in 2000 and behaves similarly to E10, the phonetic alphabet station, though broadcasts are far less frequent. Bulgarian Betty, bearing the ID S10, was an extremely popular catch for North American SWLs. due to predictable schedules and very long, all-night broadcasts. This station disappeared in 1990 and was thought gone for good until it appeared again several years later.
7, 9, 3, 8, 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 9, 9, 9, 3, 4.
While Bulgarian Betty has lost her prominent position in DXTRA's logbooks, she can still be heard occasionally in North America. Sometimes, stations change their formats or experiment with new ones. One example of this is E14, which used the same voice as E5 does today, except that the text was read in groups of 4 digits instead of a 3-2-digit format. The count control format, as it was called, hasn't been used since the mid-90s. Other changes may involve a new language, or a station may drop one that it already has. Some stations in the 80s were known to transmit messages in 2 languages during the same broadcast. It appears that some large organizations operate networks of stations employing a variety of formats, schedules, and languages. If this small sample has you intrigued, you'll find plenty more information and recordings on the internet, or better yet, on your radio. But where are they coming from? So what's the point? Why finance a network of shortwave radio stations that transmit nonsense and set it all to creepy tones or patriotic music? Why operate all this on a schedule, or on no schedule at all? Why commit the resources and then keep it all so secret? Why? We have already established the popular belief that spies are behind these transmissions. Indeed, there has been proof coming in slowly but surely that tie such stations to espionage organizations communicating to their agents in the field. But in this age of such advanced communication, why shortwave? It is believed that a shortwave radio would not raise suspicion as an agent tries to establish a cover. More sophisticated equipment, particularly in less developed countries, may turn too many heads. Furthermore, there is no way to tell who is listening to a radio broadcast, making the monitoring agent undetectable. Clips of virtually every number station caught have been recorded and made available online. There are websites providing a wealth of information on the stations themselves and the intrigue behind them. The internet has, in fact, made this phenomenon of the radio dial popular in some creative circles. One might argue that number stations are used by those in power to covertly spy on others in power. The broadcasts have become representative of conformity. Through a popularity as strange as the stations themselves, numbers clips can be heard in nightclubs, mixed as part of techno music, and in films such as Vanilla Sky. It is one thing to hear clips blended into music, quite another to hear a genuine recording. However, nothing is as bone-chilling as hearing a station live on your own radio, just as you would hear any other radio station. If you would like to hear a real live number station, an ordinary shortwave radio will do. Just tune around slowly and listen carefully, starting between 4 and 12 megahertz during your local evening hours. A look at recently reported stations may help you track down future transmissions. Don't forget to use the vast number of resources online. There must be some reason these number stations continue to exist. If you have caught the intrigue, you can begin looking anytime. They are always out there, even if you can't hear them. Remember, they don't know who's listening any more than you know who's on the air.
End of message. End of transmission.